Yo, what's going on, guys? We are back at it again with another one. In this one, we are back with Yu-Gi-Oh! And I have a new archetype for you. Maybe you got some cards for the holidays, maybe you're just looking for something new, maybe it's just that you want to compete at competitions and you don't know where to start. Well, today, we're covering Vaylantz. Now, I know not everyone wants to hear me talk, so here's what we'll do. If you just want to see the gameplay, just continue watching and enjoy it. But if you want the deck tech, then fast forward to the end, and yeah, I'll put the timestamp in there and everything. But enjoy. Thanks, guys. Peace.
Open eye, feel the waves cut through me. Hypnotized by the sounds I'm breathing in. Hold tight, chemicals collide. Hold tight, hold tight, hold tight. Dripping lights paint the skies, all because of you. Dripping lights paint the skies, only you can make me
Hold me close till I get up. Time is barely on our side. I don't wanna waste what's left. The storms we chase are leading us, and love is all we'll ever trust. Yeah, no, I don't wanna waste what's left. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways, till my shadow turns to sun rays. And on we'll go, through the wastelands, through the highways. And on we'll go. empty town. We're searching for the lost and found, but you don't.
Alright, and let's get right into the deck. We're running 2 Lava Golems. That's basically filling the position of a Kaiju. We can send him back to the Spell and Trap card zone, and ultimately be able to use our Genesis Grand Duke, sending him back to the hand, being able to use him more than once. So he's a very good tool for the deck, and I really enjoy him. Besides that, we have Vaylantz Dominator Duke at 2, Vaylantz Warrior at 2, Ninja at 3, we have Marquise at 2, Voltage Viscount at 2, Vaylantz Archer at 2, we run 2 Ash, 2 Buster Barons, we run 3 Priestess. This is the number 1 card of the deck. This is your number 1 extender. This card is going to be able to get into Place of Beginnings and get you your spell card. It can get you Valyant's Awakening. If you go into Valyant's Awakening, you can use that to then extend into Mizuki, and then use Mizuki's effect, moving another Vaylantz around. However, if you do things like this, it does lock you in from only special summoning Vaylantz monsters. However, that's not really an issue because we're going to be using our links before we get there. And at the end, we'll probably fusion into our Vaylantz fusions. But moving on with the deck, we do have 1 Effect Veiler and 1 Fossil Dino, Pachycephalo. I hope I pronounced that correct, but the reason he's in the deck is for 2 reasons. 1, if we're at a disadvantage and we're probably going to lose, we can set him face down, hopefully catch our opponent by mistake. Alternatively, you do want to normal summon him, because we don't use a lot of normal summons in the deck, if any at all. And what he's going to do is floodgate your opponent. Moving on, we have 1 Paraformal Duelist Extraordinaire. That's a very good card for the deck. What he's going to allow us to do is pendulum some monsters back out onto the field, as well as protecting some of our important pieces by pitching a spell card from our deck and banishing it. On top of that, our next big pendulum is Moyessa Knight. He's our number 1 search. We do want to get Moyessa Knight and pendulum into some more cards, so that way we can get into some extenders, blah 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 blah. You know how these things work. Now, moving on to spell cards, we run 1 Change of Heart, 1 Raigeki, 1 Vaylantz Wars, 1 Harpy's Feather Duster, 3 Dark Ruler No More. That's really going to help you get through some of these quote-unquote unbreakable boards. In conjunction with Lava Golem and Dark Ruler No More, you can break apart a lot of boards very easily. And then you have Vaylantz Awakening. We talked about that a little bit. However, what that's going to allow you to do, as well as setting Mizuki, is it's going to allow you to banish this card from the grave, target a Vaylantz in your monster zone, move it to an adjacent horizontal monster zone. Now, why is that important? That's important because all of the Vaylantz will activate their effects based on whether they have been moved or not. For instance, Dominator Duke reads, if Vaylantz World Koenig Wizen is in the field zone, or if you control a Fire Vaylantz monster, you can special summon this card to your main monster zone in its same column. So essentially special summoning itself from the Pendulum zone. Its monster effect will then take effect. You can target 1 set card in the Spell and Trap card zone. That set card cannot be activated this turn if this card leaves the field. Even if this card leaves the field, I apologize. If this card is in the monster zone, moves to another monster zone, you can target 1 face-up monster your opponent's main monster zone and take control of that face-up monster. So essentially, these effects are going to be going off of each other by moving around in your monster zones. Now, how are we going to get that done, if not by the Vaylantz cards? Well, we're going to have 2 Senate Switch. Once per turn, you can target 1 monster in your main monster zone, choose one of its unused adjacent horizontal monster zones, move that target to the chosen adjacent zone, thus activating some of these effects that can get us extended. We have Vaylantz Ward Shinra Basho and Vaylantz Ward Koenig Wizen. These are the 2 field spells for the deck. The first one reads, if there are 2 cards in the field zone, that the turn player can target 1 monster card in their own Spell and Trap card zone. They special summon that monster to their own main monster zone in the same column. that turn player can only use the effect of Vaylantz word Shinra Bansho once per turn. And then, on top of that, we have Koenig Wizen. If there are 2 cards in the field zone, the turn player can target one effect monster in your opponent's main monster zone in the same column as one of them other monsters they control. They place that opponent's monster face up as a continuous spell in their spell and trap card zone in its same column. If its zone is occupied, destroy the occupying card. The turn player can only use this effect of Vaylantz word Koenig Wizen once per turn. But what's very interesting and why you don't need to run terraforming or any search cards for these is because either or, whenever you activate either or, will search the other from the deck and activate it on your opponent's side of the field. And when that happens, that also shuts down your opponent from using infinite impermanence and other cards that require no cards on the field to be activated. Now, in the side deck, we have two Wars, 2 Awakening, 2 of the field spell. This was me just experimenting with what I could do. However, I recommend doing the regular side decks, Droll, Crow, just the regular side deck stuff. But moving on to extra deck, we are running 2 Arctos. We are running 2 Mamanoka, 2 Duke, 1 Boral End Dragon, 1 Boral Code Dragon, 1 IP Masquerada, 1 Mech Knight Crusader Abramax, Gallant Granite, Beyond the Pendulum, Crystal Wing Synchro Dragon, Warlord Savage Dragon, and Symphonic Warrior Rocks. Now, these last 4 cards was also me just experimenting. So if you'd like to take these 4 cards out, this deck will function just like this. In fact, you could even lower the Momonaka down to 1 and play it like that. But in the meantime, that's the deck. If you made it this far, don't forget to leave me a like, don't forget to leave me a comment, and share it with your buddies. It helps me, helps the channel, and the algorithm loves it. But I'll see you in the next one. Peace.